questions. The most dangerous methods of research sometimes give unexpected results. But before we begin, remember to leave a like, a comment and of course, subscribe if you like the breakdown. Let's get into it. The movie begins with Sabina Spielrein being brought to the Burgley clinic. The girl is out of her mind and the clinic staff has a hard time getting her inside the room where the heroine is located. Later the man discusses the patient with his pregnant wife Emma. The woman says that Sabine is exactly the kind of girl who can be cured with conversation. Gustav thinks about it too. The doctor continues his conversations with Sabina during a walk in the garden. She tells the man about an imaginary angel, who for some reason speaks to her in German. Jung warns that he about the idleness of his work. The nurse brings Sabine food but the girl refuses to eat. The woman complains about the patient's behavior to the professor. Later the man catches her paddling in the swamp. She is stained with mud. The medical staff brings Sabina back to the clinic to bathe her. When Jung returns to make an associative series, the man records the answers and clocks the time. After seeing his wife off he asks his assistant what she noticed during the experiment. Sabina says that the woman is afraid of losing her husband's interest. Jung notes that the girl because an imaginary cat is sleeping in bed with her, but she realizes that no one is really there. The doctor questions the patient about whether she was thinking about wet fantasies at that moment. Sabina confesses that after her sessions with Sabina, the doctor and had been brought up in a closet. When all this was going on Sabina felt invigorated and every time her father sent her or her brothers to the closet, the girl was happy about what was happening. Over time any humiliation began to trigger her sensuality. Sina recalls the moment when the doctor shakes off Ed in Vienna. Jung suggests to his mentor that he revise the names of the categories so that society will perceive his work better. At the table Karl tries to choose his words but Sigmund says that his family is used to everything and the guest can feel free to express himself. The men discuss a Russian patient with whom Jung is working. The doctor shares with the teacher the stories the girl told him and is misunderstood and criticized. Sigmund shares information about how he feels about national minorities suggesting that this is the main reason for the rejection of his theory. At home Jung tells a colleague about his strange dream and the men try to unravel what they have seen. Feud associates the horse with the hero. Hours. And the scientists concluded that Jung suppressed his desired. When Karl returns home he goes on a therapeutic walk with Sabine. The man talks about his trip to Freud and remarks that one should be his colleague. He easily convinces others of what he is talking about. The girl admires the opera. She and the doctor like the legend of Siegfried. Sabine wonders if Otto is surprised that the doctor is faithful to his wife. The men discuss monogamy. At the end Gross shares his experience, suggesting that the doctor should tell his patients what they want to hear, so that the doctor will increase his popularity. Jung and his assistant conduct another experiment. Sabina records the data. The doctor observes Labra on the riverbank. The girl is sad that she cannot understand everything thoroughly because of her lack of experience. Suddenly she kisses Jung. The characters discuss who should take the initiative. After showing where she lives the girl leaves. Otto advises Karl to test himself with the patient. Jung begins to doubt the reasonableness of his life positions. The doctor is afraid of Gross's influence and outdoors. Jung examines the notes on the walls in Otto's room. Karl finds a note addressed to him. Gross advises his colleague to take a sip from the well to get drunk. Karl comes to visit Sabine. They give in to temptation on the doorstep and later move into an apartment to get to know each other even better. Sabina is happy with what they had and she thoroughly dreaming of the man coming to Sabina again and she wants to sleep with him. But Karl pushes the girl away. The hero wants to speak out and he tells her that he is married and lives alley but he does not want to stop relations with the Russian. Sina wonders what kind of relationship they have with Emma. Karl argues about the habit and tenderness for his wife. Then the girl suggests Jung sleep with her again. When Emma loses weight she proposes to her worthy follower and convinces Karl of his exclusivity. He agrees to support his friend's mystical inclinations but asks him to adhere to a strictly scientific framework so that they are not discriminated against. Jung does not understand his colleague's position. There are too many mysteries around that he wants to solve and the men argue. The doctor finds new ways to treat Sabina which pleases the various people. Jung takes the man for a ride on his yacht. And Sigmund shares with a colleague the gossip that goes around in Vienna about junk. Later Karl talks to Sabine about ending their relationship. The girl is heartbroken. Emma doesn't like Fred and is glad the man has left. The woman admits that it was she who spread the rumors in Vienna to bring her husband back into this for the appointment. The girl writes to Freud. She wants to visit the doctor in Vienna and talk. Sigmund informs his friend about Spielrein's letter and the girl's desire to ruin Jung's reputation. The doctor refuses to let her see him and insists that Sabine deal with the unrequited feeling herself. When the girl receives Freud's answer, she sobs in the park. Later Sina comes to Karl asking him to coming trip with Freud to America. In the letter Karl confesses to his mentor that he slept with a Russian. The men sail together to America. They discuss Jung's new dream and make attempts to unravel it. Carl wants to hear what Freud dreamed, but his colleague fears for his authority and does not want to say anything. After a while, Jung and Sabine meet in Switzerland. The girl sends him her dissertation and she wants to go to a place where she will be free. Carl asks her to stay with him, and 2 years later she discusses her thesis with Freud. The girl begins to understand why Freud and Jung did not find common ground, and the doctor convinces the guest that he has no disagreements with Carl. Sabina wants to find a way to try on men, but Sigmund asks her not to trust anyone and offers the girl to. Suddenly Sigmund falls and Jung rushes to his aid. In correspondence, the colleagues decide to end their friendship. Freud puts his student's photo away in a drawer, removing him from his life. After a while, Sabine comes to visit Jung. Spielrein wants to devote herself to child psychology but is not sure that she will get the approval. Talks about the fact that her husband has not recovered from his breakup with Freud. The girl goes to the riverbank where Carl is sitting. She talks about her marriage. The friends discuss Sabina's husband. Jung tells her his dream, a doctor for healing. Jung is skeptical of her words and is sure that only a suffering doctor can heal another. The couple discusses the man's new girlfriend, finding out that she is very similar to Sabina. Jung's feelings for the girl help him understand himself. Sabina drives away in an automobile playing Wagner's opera. Jung sits in a chair in the courtyard and stares